Our Minority Whip, Mr. Blunt.
Gentlemen, the distinguished Minority Whip is recognized for 5 minutes.
Madam Chairman, and I appreciate having the time. I appreciate the leadership that my good friend from California has shown on this issue. Madam Chairman, members, many of us in this chamber have been reminded over the years, some of us more frequently than others, that elections don't always yield the most convenient results. But as unpredictable and at times disappointing as their outcomes can be, for some reason we keep holding them. And we go to extraordinary lengths to ensure that basic conditions of privacy and integrity are properly observed and protected. The reason we do that is not that we're gluttons for punishment, that we want to go back facing the disappointment of not being successful on Election Day. It's that in our democracy, secret ballot elections represent an essential mechanism for establishing legitimacy. We recognize elections as the fabric that holds our democracy together. Lose an election and you tend to ask yourself plenty of questions. Most of us, though, after all the soul-searching we do, don't decide that one of those questions is answered by the idea that next time we just simply fail to hold the election. We understand that that's not one of the options we have. The advocates of the underlying bill say we should suspend a worker's right to register his or her choice by a secret ballot and replace it with a system in which workers would be forced to publicly declare their preference to friends and to co-workers through a series of cards that would be collected. Mr. McKeon's amendment, before that, the bill introduced in previous Congresses by our friend Mr. Norwood, says that we must have, in all instances, a secret ballot election. Which system is more vulnerable to peer pressure and intimidation? An anonymous secret ballot election overseen by the National Labor Relations Board, or a public declaration of whether you want a union or not? There was a time in this country when you had to publicly go to every polling place in America and cast your ballot publicly, audibly, or visually so that everybody in the polling place knew how you voted. But over a century ago, one of the great reforms in this country was that that system would never be allowed to happen again. And one by one, the states adopted secret ballot elections as one of the great reforms that has protected our democracy. We've already heard, probably more times in this debate than anybody would want, the lead sponsor in his comments about secret ballot elections in Mexico just a few years ago. There was a day when labor advocates like Senator Robert La Follette and the AFL organ founder Samuel Gompers toured the country in a push for more open, more voluntary standards for joining a union. And in every case, they fought for the right of a secret ballot. The very privileges the sponsors of this bill say today are no longer needed. The chairman, the former chairman, the ranking member's amendment says let's defend the secret ballot, let's protect the workers' right to cast their vote in privacy, support this amendment, oppose the bill, stand up for democracy as we vote today.